Right. Should we get started?
Let's
Yeah.
get started.
Let's bust this out. It looks like a pretty easy assignment today. Let me share my screen. We're just supposed to have a discussion. And we just record and upload the discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's about group externalities. I can go ahead and read, or we can popcorn read it. I can start. There are some conditions and rules outside of a business owner's control that are imposed on a business. The conditions can lightly or heavily affect the business and can help or hurt a business. These conditions are called externalities. Brendan, do you want to keep going?
Externalities can be positive or negative and will help or hurt a business. They're caused by an outside source. For example, if the government increased taxes on a business, this would cause the prices to rise for the business. If there was a high school that opened nearby a fast food restaurant, this could bring many customers and help the fast food restaurant. These are both examples of externalities that could affect a business. All right, you want to keep going, Jennifer?
Sure. Negative externality. As you see in the below graph, the negative externality causes a shift to the left in the supply line. This is caused by an increase in overall cost of the good. The price rises and the quantity goes down. Elizabeth, you want to go?
Sure. So positive externality. In the graph below, you can see that a positive externality causes a reduction in price of production and a shift right. This causes the price to reduce and the quantity to increase. And is there more? Okay. Who wants to go next? Ethan.
Instructions. Meet with your small group together and create a list of positive and negative externalities. Then discuss how they apply to different businesses. You may want to choose a type of business you're interested in. Then discuss how the church benefits from positive externalities such as education. So basically, externalities are just things you can't control for the better or worse.
Right.
Taxes that we pay when we buy gasoline.
Yep.
Which is it's a positive and a negative, because you know what? It helps somewhat maintain our roads and create more roads, but nobody, especially when gas is so high already, nobody wants to pay that extra money. I don't want to pay that extra money.
Right. I would add to that, like, this is a big one, you guys. COVID. It shut down everything. I just couldn't believe it. Like, you guys know how that went. Like health crises, right? Like, not just COVID, but COVID was a huge one. A big one.
Yeah, COVID like destroyed the world economy.
It changed life, like it's post-COVID, pre-COVID. Pretty much, I feel like we need to put something in the history books, like this changed history of mankind. Not like Jesus, but close in the moral realm.
A positive externality for like restaurants would be high density housing.
Yeah. And like the book said, if a high school gets built by a fast food restaurant, my son in Colorado, is trying to purchase a Chick-fil-A franchise, and the place where he's working right now, the Chick-fil-A that he's working right now, has 2 high schools within a mile of his location. They are bombing. They are the busiest location and do the best in all of Chick-fil-A franchises.
It's crazy, even if they're not near high schools. I mean, look at our Chick-fil-A here in American Fork. You guys are any close? All the Chick-fil-A's are always so busy and backed up. My daughter worked there, so I know it was always busy. Okay, what about political events? Like the war in Ukraine and Russia. I mean, that also is affecting our economy right now. I mean, after COVID, that's all we needed, right? And then a bad presidency too. That I don't want to get into politics here, but I don't go like yeah. Okay,
I feel like war
just
can kind of
political.
be, I feel like those can be like both a negative and a positive externality because the US's economy booms when we're in wartime. So we produce weapons.
That's true only in the case where we sell those weapons.
Yeah.
No, when we don't need them, right?
Yeah. Did you guys hear about Poland though?
What?
But
A missile from Russia landed in Poland and killed a couple people. So it's a NATO country.
Provocation.
Oh,
It'll be interesting to
no.
see what happens in the next
Third
couple
world.
weeks. We get
Third
dragged into
world.
this
Daniel, when was that?
today.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go
It's
read the
after-
news.
It's pretty crazy.
I was following the war like very closely like a few months ago, and then I got tired. Like I'm like, I have a war here in my house, so I don't care about the other war right now. Like,
Well, that's wonderful.
weather, you guys, weather. Just think about all the what's happening in Florida, what happened in Miami, and all those areas, and tornadoes and earthquakes and.
Yeah.
Those can't, but every type of negative externality has a positive effect as well.
Right. Someone benefits from it, right?
Right.
For example, with COVID, it affected my was never busier because since I worked in heating and air and everybody was staying home, all of a sudden everybody realized what they needed. So my business boomed while I was.
And if you were Pfizer, you boomed also.
On
Well,
Amazon, they triple
Yeah.
almost, right? Everything is via mail. What about Zoom?
Yeah, Zoom, online school. I'm sure
Right.
Enzyme profited.
Mhm.
People went back to school.
Right.
What surprised me was how quickly they got rid of like their Zoom classes.
I
Because
know.
I feel like those had more students in them than even my in-person classes ever had before.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And
it's
so I was
true.
like, that's just, I mean, you could have teachers who never even came into the building or came in once a week for a training,
Yeah.
and you could have remote teachers, and I don't know, it would have allowed them to expand a small campus into so much more that they can't now.
I was talking to one of my teachers, and I guess there was a policy in place that all teachers had to come back to school and teach they had to be on school property, even if they were teaching on Zoom.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It seems pointless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something also when we had COVID in the classroom, they just couldn't hold a Zoom meeting at the same time they were teaching in person. I thought that was kind of difficult to understand for me. Like, are you kidding me? So you rather me
Mm.
miss school that being a computer with the teacher? I didn't get it.
I have one teacher, they're doing, if anyone's in political science, you might be in it. I'm not, but the teacher I know is. And it's called a high flex teaching environment where they do half the students are in the classroom and the other half are on Zoom.
That's
And they have
it.
like cameras around the classroom that film the classroom and the teacher. So
Oh.
that, and then if you come in person, then you don't have to do certain assignments throughout the week. It counts as towards it. But if you go on Zoom, then you have to do it. And you don't even have to show up to class at all. It can be strictly online, but then you have to do all of the assignments.
That's awesome. I think that they need to step it up seriously because this is a school. I mean, not all of us, right? But we have jobs, we have families. We're here, like Jennifer and I, going back to school, and this is so freaking difficult. Like, I'm getting to a point that I actually will have to quit my job to finish my degree because I cannot go and drive all the way to Salt Lake City and and do my classes. I'm just picking random classes, as many as I can on like online or Zoom. But yeah, they're reducing to come to campus.
So since we're already on the topic of Ensign College, what do you guys think? How does the church benefit from Ensign College?
Students who get degrees that they need for jobs could then turn to work for the church.
Or pay more
So they
tithing.
basically helped fund their schooling in order to give them to get a job. So they're filling their required work quotas.
Or do you guys hear that I said they will pay more tithing?
Yeah, you definitely pay more tithing if you get a better
Yeah,
job.
so the church is very interested in educating us.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, they
kidding. I
create this
mean,
like internal economy kind of.
Well, the church benefits too, like has been said, is because we get an education and we can go out and benefit. We can influence our neighbors, we can influence our families, we can create better home lives through financial means and through some of us, not myself, but many people are turning to homeschooling for their children. So if that's the case, the parents need to be educated to be able to teach their children.
I
I'm not
think,
talking. Sorry,
oh,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Daniel. No, you go ahead. I talked a
Oh,
lot.
I think to add to that, like if the church can help people get educated, then those people no longer become burdens financially on the church either. We
Right.
like it helps. We don't have to pay their bills anymore. The church won't have to.
Yeah. And also,
Yeah.
there's a lot of talks that, your good intentions can go so far. I mean, if you don't have substance, how can you lift one another, right? To be honest, like you have to have the means, education to be able to provide and help another one.
Yeah, and it also can reach like all around the world. So it's like because it's so cheap, it can reach more people, and more people want to go to school because it's so affordable.
And overall, I also think that it's part of the mission of the church, right? To perfect the saints. I mean, areas of our lives, the spiritual area, and also, just becoming self-sufficient and a good element to bless those in our community. So, and also it works as a good image, right, of people who educate themselves, who are successful, and that kind of brings the name of the church high, where all these people LDS get a lot of education and are successful in business and raise large families. And I think all this is part of being a light to the world, especially because we know that this education is something that we take with us, and if you're gonna waste your life or spend your life in something, do something like educate yourself, because this is something that we take with us, so you can never get enough.
True.
The people who are going to school are going to be the future leaders of our church also, we might have one of the next general authorities here pretty soon from any one of our classes, or our bishop or our stake center or our stake president. And we are developing ourselves, that the church, Ensign College, is developing us to be leaders.
That's right.
Yeah, I know my stake president, he went to Ensign College. That's what he was telling me. And then kind of with like what Elizabeth was saying with like being a light on a hill, I know like the church education program, like all of the schools, like they don't only serve members of the church. There's a lot of non-members, especially in like BYU, Hawaii, and Pathways. I remember my first semester at Ensign, there was a student in my English class that wasn't a member. And then he ended up joining the church eventually, like at the end of the semester, he joined. But I think it's a super good missionary force too.
For sure.
That's awesome. And also education makes us free, right? Free from the world, free from poverty and ignorance and all these errors, right? Like people who are not working and engaged are just people who are just in sin, pretty much. And the name of the school, Ensign, with an ensign, light to the world.
Do any of you know any negative externalities? I don't see any. Do you know of? Oh, well, other than it does, the church, subsidizes our tuition.
Yeah. it's rare, but if people are going into massive amounts of debt to go to school, not the enzyme, but at any school, I mean, to an extent, it's okay to go into debt for education, but only to an extent, I feel like, because if you get a degree in basket weaving, you spent $300,000 doing so, you're not going to get a job that will ever pay that off, and you're in debt for. So it's positive to get an education, but it's positive to get an education in something that can benefit your life.
Yeah, something negative I would think of is looking at this list that we have taxes. I don't know how that would affect our education, but maybe something a tax on transportation. Although I know that we get a discount on transportation. I mean, gasoline prices definitely affected me commuting there. It's one, my schedule, my children, and also gasoline. Like me driving 2 times or 3 times to Salt Lake City for 45 minutes, it was just eating up my income. What else? Weather. Sometimes when driving conditions are not good, that kind of reduces the attendance in the classrooms. I don't know. I don't think war would affect us directly, but yeah.
Well, it could. A lot of people could get sent away to war if
Oh yeah.
that.
Mhm. There was a situation happening not in our school, but you guys recall the U of U that they had a series of crimes committed in their campus or areas, like within their students' body. There was like a murder, and it was
Okay.
one of their athletes, and so it became very political, but it was something that was not under control, and it was affecting their student body and the image of the school, with these parents suing the school for millions and millions of dollars. I actually think they got some of that. Of course, that's going to affect the school because that's money that is not going to students or develop programs or to paying teachers, but it's money that is going to someone else's pocket to pay for not protecting their daughter.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I know, like, I've looked at some schools that I want to transfer to, like, after, like, in the future for a graduate program across the country. And some schools look nice, but the neighborhoods around it are just like very crime ridden. So like I don't want to like put my family in this like nasty neighborhood. And that could affect a school's performance and how much they bring in cash flow. Or any business really. Like I don't want to drive to some sketchy part of town, even if they have like great tacos. Like I'll get shot.
Or just think about what's
Tacos?
happening to.
It'd be worth it for tacos.
Did I hear tacos too? Think about what also the crisis that BYU has gone over, like, all this discrimination and all these minority groups opposing to BYU's control of their students. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've heard some of this stuff. There's like the LGBT movement at BYU. There's like race problems over there too. Those are like, I don't want to go to BYU just because I don't want to listen to the drama. I'm sure there's a lot of people, like I know a lot of people prefer to go to Ensign College or even BYU Idaho over like BYU Provo, just because they
Yeah.
don't want to be in that environment.
There's a lot of things definitely, but I just like, what, if it's a private property, it's like we're not gonna go and tell Walmart how to do their business or how to hire or what to teach their employees. Like there's a balance, but I get it. As a student I will be tired of so many distractions from my education. I also think that something that would affect the school is that the economy, like inflation and how they had to pay their teachers more money and invest in more maintenance, those things affect everyone, and that will have to translate into an increase of tuition for those who are paying full tuition or not. So I think that also would be a negative externality for schools.
Well, inflation doesn't do anybody any good. Unfortunately, nobody wins when there's inflation.
Correct.
I think we got this covered. You guys feel like
I think that was good.
it was
Yeah, I don't
good.
have anything more to say.
So who's the other person? I can never say that. Of course, I cannot read that. Who are you? Sorry, I forgot your name. Didn't we have a Jennifer in our group?
Not besides me.
I think it's
Oh no, it was
Rion or
hello. Who's there?
From, I believe. Or
I don't know, maybe they're
I
not
don't-
there. Okay, well, I think that we complete this assignment. So do we have to, everyone get a copy of this recording and submit it, or? Because I always get confused with that. Like, do we have a representative or are we all doing it?
It just on the assignment says everybody uploads it, so
everyone? Okay. All right,
Yeah,
I'll make it a YouTube link right now and I'll text it.
yeah,
I mean,
Okay.
when you actually click to submit it, it says it counts for everyone, but I think it's safer to just everyone submit your own.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Deal. Well, thank you so much, everyone. You guys are awesome. Wish you the best. We're almost there.
Good luck.
Even
Yes,
I don't even know we're gonna get together again. Do you guys think so?
probably. I would
Okay,
assume
okay.
so.
Well, then
Yeah.
I don't give you the farewell yet. Okay, keep going. Keep the good work.
Keep
All right.
pushing. Yes.
See you
You're not
guys.
alone. You're not alone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
guys.
See ya. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah.
Appreciate your hard work getting it all set up and uploading and all that.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Take care. Have a good week.
Bye.